Thank you, everybody, for coming to the Aaron Torres Podcast YouTube page. If you could do me one quick favor, see that little black subscribe button on the bottom of your screen? Go ahead, hit that little black subscribe button. Really does help this channel grow, my audience grow, and I appreciate it more than you know. Also, quick thank you to our presenting sponsor, Betfred Sportsbook and the Betfred Sportsbook app. Bet $50 on any game. Get up to $1,111 in free bets courtesy of the Betfred Sportsbook. Thank you again. Now, here's the video that you came here for. So let's jump right into our Big 12 preview. And there's only one place to start, baby. You know where it is. It's with the team that is perpetually, they're always back. And this year, it feels like they're backer than they've ever been back before. I'm, of course, talking about the Texas Longhorns. Texas was your preseason Big 12 pick by the media. They also have the highest over-under win total in this conference, 9.5 wins in the Betfred Sportsbook. That is their over-under. To bet the over, it's -140. To bet the under, it is +115. And listen, I'll say this. Two things can be true. Texas has a lot to prove. Steve Sarkisian has a lot to prove. But there is a lot to be excited about with this team. Starting with Texas, look, obviously coming off an 8-5 year last year, a significant improvement from year one to year two under Steve Sarkisian. I can criticize him for this or that, but the team was much better. More importantly, the offense started to look like a Steve Sarkisian offense. And remember, it happened in a season where Quinn Ewers did get banged up. Overall, over the course of the season, 24th nationally in scoring. I do believe that Steve Sarkisian might be the best play caller and play designer in college football. I am far from a scheme expert, but it's amazing how often his best wide receiver always seems to be wide open. So credit to Sark. And really, just a fascinating year in terms of the personnel and talent that he has at his disposal this year. Look, it all starts with Quinn Ewers. We know that at quarterback. And I'll just be fascinated to see what we see from Quinn Ewers in year 3 in college football, year 2 as Texas's starter. Last year, a little bit up and down. We all remember the great game, the great half against Alabama before, unfortunately, he gets hurt. He goes down. Texas can't hold on. They lose to Texas Tech a few weeks later, but he comes back, starts to pick up the momentum. But really, by the end of the year, if you paid close attention, it was a little bit of an up and down year for Quinn Ewers. 58% completion percentage, 16 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. So it is interesting that everybody is so excited about Ewers in this offense. You actually look at the stats. They weren't overwhelming a year ago, but the bottom line is he was hurt. And this is his second year in the system. There's reason to be excited there. There's also reason to be excited because I think he has as much talent at his disposal as anybody in college football on offense. Obviously, Bijan Robinson is gone at running back, but third leading rusher Jonathan Brooks is back. A 5-star named C.J. Baxter is in that offensive backfield, And then that receiver room is as good as anybody in college football not named Ohio State, okay? Returning in no particular order and coming in, I should mention, A.D. Mitchell, superstar transfer from Georgia, is in. Remember, they signed a great transfer last year named Isaiah Nayor from Wyoming who got hurt. He is back and healthy. Beyond him, Xavier Worthy, we all know how good he can be. Jordan Whittington, we know how good he can be. The tight end, Jatavian Sanders. Oh, by the way, Jonte Cook, 5-star wide receiver. This is a loaded group. And finally, listen, again, I'm not a scheme expert. I'm not an NFL draft expert, but the offensive line, 4 starters back on that offense. Oh, by the way, Kelvin Banks, he's only a true sophomore. People are already talking about him as potentially the #1 offensive tackle in the 2025 NFL draft. He's probably a 3-and-1 day one type guy at that position. Defensively, I'll say this for Texas. Again, I'm being awfully nice to Texas. Everybody wants to make fun of Texas. I see where the buzz is from. That defense was much better than people realize a season ago. You go back to last year, gave up just 21.5 points per game. Again, I don't think people realize that this was one of the better defenses in the Big 12 a season ago. On top of that, 21.6 points per game allowed. Also pretty good against the run, 32nd nationally. Need to get better in the secondary. Gave up 242 yards per game. But the one thing about Texas, you know they got talent everywhere. Listen, the front seven is solid. You look at some of the guys they have there: Tavondre Sweat, Baron Sorrell, at linebacker. Jalen Ford was a monster, 119 tackles a season ago. And beyond that, some interesting pieces in the secondary, including a name that many of you may remember. Jalen Catalon transfers in from Arkansas. This guy was a stud during that 2020 COVID season for the Razorbacks. That was year one for Sam Pittman. And unfortunately, the last 2 years, he's been banged up. He's been hurt. It's been out of the lineup. If he could stay healthy, he's one of the best safeties maybe in all of college football. So there's a lot to like there. Finally, when it comes to Texas, let me just say this. Schedule, by no means easy, but not impossible either, right? The big one is obviously at Alabama early in the season. We know about that. Big 12 schedule is interesting from the perspective of Texas. I found this very interesting. Obviously, you play Oklahoma and Dallas. You do get Kansas State at home. This is what's interesting to me, though. 3 former Southwest Conference rivals in the state of Texas. You have to play them all on the road. You have to play at TCU. You have to play at Baylor. You have to play at Houston. So the schedule is not easy. Now, in terms of that over-under win total, listen, to me, bluntly, this is a total stay away. Some people love Texas. I'm just not there yet. Texas fans think I hate them. I'm just trying to be realistic. I've said it many times this offseason. Steve Sarkisian has never won more than 8 regular season games. Quinn Ewers, as I said, I expect him to be better in year 2 in that system under Steve Sarkisian. 56% completion percentage last year, needs to be better, has plenty of weapons. And then also, bluntly, the schedule is not that easy. I'm a little higher on Bama than most, so maybe that plays a role. But at Bama, and then, like I said, those 3 in-state road games at Houston, at Baylor, at TCU. Not saying Texas isn't as good as any of them, but you are going to have hostile crowds in the final season for Texas in this conference. So to me, 9-3 feels about right. Again, that's kind of who Steve Sarkisian has been, right? Couple nice wins, couple nice performances, a weird loss or 2 here or there. And so bottom line to me, total stay away to me, 9-3 feels about right. I think they can get to 10-2. I don't know that we're going 11-1. That means you got to that means if you lose at Bama, you're running the table from there. That's a tough ask. This feels like a 9-3, 10-2 type team to me. Stay away on the over-under.